Welcome back to the Cap Report. In this video, I will be discussing my UFC 261 predictions. Now, this won't be as in-depth, I think, as some of the older prediction videos. I haven't had the time that I wanted to invest into looking over these fights. Normally, I put a lot of time into researching in terms of just looking at statistics, and I go back and I watch a lot of the fighters' older fights. So I did not have the time to do that necessarily. So this one won't be as much breakdown. It will be probably more predictions and just pieces of what could be pushing each fight in the direction of either fighter. We start the card in the light heavyweight division as number 6 ranked Anthony Smith takes on number 13 ranked Jim Crute in what is very much a fight between an up-and-coming prospect versus a established veteran. These fights are always interesting, and they can be really hard to pick too because some guys pass that test with flying colors, and other guys, they get stuck when it comes to hitting that top 5, top 10 area, and they just can't break in. Anthony Smith is a plus 200 underdog. Jim Crute is a minus 160 favorite. I'm not against these odds. I think it might be maybe a little closer. I think both these guys are great standing up and on the ground. This fight will be competitive wherever it takes place. Honestly, you could see it go both ways. I think for me, what really picked this fight is the output of these guys. Jim Crute's a very high output guy. Anthony Smith is very low output. If you look in his last couple fights, he does not throw a lot of strikes. So I think that could be a problem for him. But I don't know. There's something about him I don't want to pick against, right? He's got that 50 fight experience, which is a lot, right? Crute, I think, in his only loss, I think it was very much in part he was going too fast, trying to do too much, and got caught in a submission by doing that. And so you could say that was due to a lack of experience, right? These guys, I think Crute has future UFC champion potential in him, so I'm really excited to see how he performs in this fight. Anthony Smith, I think his best path to victory is, as I said, he's low output, right? So if he's able to push that up a bit and kind of get the fight going fast, get Jim Crute to try and do a lot, he could probably catch him in a mistake. Because as I said, I think that's what I at least took away from Crute's lone loss in his career so far, right? Was that he was going so fast. I think that he didn't necessarily think through everything, and he got reversed into a submission. I think that Anthony Smith could very well do that if he's able to get it to the ground. If he's able to get Crute's back, I think that he can finish it, particularly there. Maybe if he's standing in a counter-striking situation, considering he's got big power, and as I said, he doesn't strike as much. Crute, I would imagine, would be the aggressor, the more the pressure in this fight. Yeah, for Anthony Smith, if it's standing counter-strikes, I could see him get to the ground. If he's in the open mat, that he's able to get Crute's back and take him that way. Or, as I said, maybe he gets a first, second round finish if he's able to get Crute to just open up, go all out, and catch him in a mistake. For Crute, I think that he can get a win standing or on the ground as well. He's very good submissions. He's a very good striker as well. I believe his last 2 fights are first round finishes. One was a submission and one was, I believe, a guillotine, and one was striking, where he insane shot on Fight Island. For Crute, his path to victory, I think outstriking Anthony Smith, just volume. Granted, he's not a volume puncher in the sense of he has power in his punches as well. He just throws a lot high output, but I don't think in the sense of volume puncher, right? So I could see him though, if he pushes the pressure, throws a lot, that he catches Anthony Smith. Maybe he grinds out a decision, right? I could see this easily going to a decision because Anthony Smith's a hard guy to finish. That maybe he takes 2 or 3 rounds just off of pressure, outpacing, outstriking Anthony Smith, and just building up damage over time due to that. That's probably the way I see this. Would be because I could see Crute getting the finish too, just because he's got good power. But I'm gonna go with the Crute decision. Honestly, I could see it being a 30-27, but I'm not gonna go that into depth with the prediction. But yeah, I'm gonna go. My official prediction is Jim Crute 3rd round decision win. For the next fight, we go to the middleweight division in a rematch of a 10-11-year-old fight. As number 9 ranked Uriah Hall takes on number 11 Chris Weidman. Yeah, these guys fought before they got in the UFC on the regional scene. I mean, it's kind of crazy because the ticket to the UFC fight is what it was billed as. Uriah Hall was the current champion. Yeah, Hall was the champion. He got caught just focused on Weidman's wrestling, and Weidman caught him and finished him. and that kind of propelled Weidman into his career, you know, ultimately becoming a UFC champion. And Uriah Hall has never just quite been able to get up to that level. You know, what he was close to winning Ultimate Fighter the season he was on, but I can't remember where he ended up finishing. But nonetheless, so this adds an interesting flair and like factor to this fight. Uriah Hall is a plus 100 underdog. Chris Weidman is a minus 125 favorite, and I'd agree with those odds. I think that very much this is a pretty close fight. Weidman probably has the advantage just off of, you know, having higher peaks in his career and his skill set being able to probably better just grind out a win. You know, with the wrestling, he's probably able to get Hall to the ground. He's got decent stand-up as well, so there's enough that he could grind out a victory if he needed to. Yeah, no, this is very much a pretty simple fight in the terms of it's a wrestler versus striker. If for past the victory, if Weidman can get Hall to the ground, he's probably gonna get a win. Maybe he gets the TKO or decision. I don't see him trying to stand with Hall too much. I mean, he can, but I don't know if it's worth taking that chance, because I think if Hall's able to land a clean shot on Weidman, he could get the win just off of that. Weidman's chin has devolved a lot in his career. He's taken too many shots that it just the right shot will put him out. So just off of that, Hall has a puncher's chance if he's able to keep the fight standing, and he's had some vicious knockouts, right? That he's able to just catch Weidman. Maybe he catches him on a level change or something. I don't know. But Weidman's striking is good enough that you have to at least respect it, and you're not thinking that he's looking for a level change every time he presses forward. So that being said, yeah. So and past the victory for Hall then is gonna be catching Weidman, keeping the fight off the ground. I don't think that it plays into his hand at all. If he can keep it striking, all he's looking for is landing that big strike. Maybe he's able, he's a better striker than Weidman, so he's able to maybe, if he keeps it standing in general, just get a decision victory as well. But I think if he's going to win, his path's probably going to be knockout. That being said, my prediction for this fight is Uriah Hall by second round knockout. Moving on to the next fight, we have in the women's flyweight division, our first of 3 title fights as Valentina Schebchenko takes on Jessica Andrade, the #1 contender. And Valentina Schebchenko sits at a minus 455 favorite, Andrade at a plus 350 underdog, and I agree with those odds. Andrade definitely, she has a chance, but it's not not the greatest. Schebchenko is on another level in this division, right? She's on the run she's on for a reason. Andrade has the power, and she's won the belt at strawweight before, right? So there definitely is merit behind her being a high level contender. It's just the power that she has, right? Schebchenko, she's very skilled, and I think that if she comes in with the right mindset in this fight, that she should be able to handle this. But Andrade is someone you can't write off just for the fact that it could be one shot and you're done. If she's able to get her hands on you and slam you like she did with Namajunas, it could be over. You could be out. So Schebchenko has to be very, very careful in how she fights this. I could see very easily she just sticking out on range and poking from a distance and winning on points or something. If she gets in the clinch, she has trips that she's able to use, right? She's got to, as I said, avoid allowing Andrade to lift her up and slam her, though. She should be fine on the ground. There's maybe a little bit of questions where Maya in her last fight was able to kind of control her a bit on the ground just because she was the bigger fighter, and Andrade is probably she's bigger, shorter, but bigger than Schebchenko and stronger, so maybe there's a bit of worry of her on the ground. Andrade, I believe, thinks that she'll be able to be effective on the ground, but I think Schebchenko can hold her own for the most part. So yeah, if we're looking at past the victory for Andrade, it's going to be getting within distance and being able to land a power punch or slamming or something like that, right? It's going to be a lot more reliant on her power. There's multiple ways, yeah, as I said. If she can land a big shot on standing up, if she gets in the clinch, maybe she slams her and she gets a Rose-type finish again. Or even on the ground, there's a chance, right? She, I believe, is black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, so maybe the BJJ comes into play and that she's able to get a submission on the ground if she's able to control Schebchenko on the ground a bit. For Schebchenko, it's going to be being clinical on her feet, maintaining distance and being able to pick up points and poke from a distance on damage. Maybe she's able to draw Andrade into a a head kick or something, right? You know, finish her the way she finished this guy or something. Or, yeah, you know, most of her finishes, I believe, are going to be standing. I could see her winning a decision on points. I could see maybe I don't think she finishes it, but I could see maybe, yeah, like a kick or something if she's holding Andrade at distance and sets something like that up. Ultimately, I think it's pretty straightforward. As I said, minus 45 or minus 455. So my official prediction is going to be Valentina Schebchenko by decision. Moving to the co-main event in the women's strawweight division, we have champion Weili taking on former champion and number one contender Rose Namajunas. In my opinion, this is probably the best fight on the card. This is to me, a 50-50 fight. I believe, let's see, Weili is a minus 200 favorite, and Rose Namajunas is a plus 165 underdog. But as I said, I think this is a lot closer. It's like minus 100, minus 100, minus 115. Like, it's very close. Like a pick 'em, basically. There's a lot of questions going into it, you know, where each fighter is at. It's been a year since we've seen Weili fight. You know, will there be any ring rust? You know, has her chin fully recovered from that Joanna fight? Because that fight was absolute insanity, just an absolute war. Where's Rose at mentally coming into this fight, you know, and how each fighter approaches this fight. If Rose is gonna try and take this fight to the ground or not at all, or if she's gonna stay standing, you know. Each fighter has, I think, ways to push this fight in their benefit. Rose is gonna wanna, you know, maintain distance. She's great at controlling distance in a fight, moving in and out. She has a 2-inch reach advantage, and I think 3.5-inch leg reach advantage as well. So she's able to, she's gonna be able to have the advantage that Weili's gonna have to come in on her. And as I said, Rose is great at coming in, coming out. Popping in, hit you, pop out. Weili's gonna have to, you know, close that distance and probably push the pressure and walk her down. Leg kicks will be huge for her, being able to limit the mobility of Rose. And, you know, if she's able to limit the mobility, she'll be able to pepper her a lot more with strikes, and getting on the inside and all that type of stuff will be so much easier if she doesn't have to worry about Rose going in and out on her, and her kind of have to chasing her down a bit. It's 3 a.m. It's actually 3:40 a.m. So I'm just gonna jump right into the path to victory for each of them. For Rose, it's gonna be maintaining that distance, making Weili come in on her. She can probably catch Weili trying to come in and close the distance. You know, maybe she looks for her. Weili isn't always she moves straight forward a lot, right? She's not like moving laterally a lot, so you could probably catch her coming straight in. Maybe, you know, she drops her, gets her back, something like that. I could see that happening and finishing her that way. The ground game, I think that it's gonna be quite even, so maybe there's a chance. I don't know, but yeah, for Rose, control the range of the fight from distance. She can probably catch Weili coming in with maybe like a head kick or a looping hook or something. She's not have to worry about Weili, I think, moving out of the way of it too much and slipping in. For Weili, I think that it's going to be very much pushing the pace and pressuring and cutting down Rose's legs with those leg kicks, limiting her mobility. You know, if you're able to hit those leg kicks, you limit her mobility and ultimately her head movement as well. You're able to land down the middle. Maybe she's also able to get some damage within the clinch, you know, like she did to Andrade. Killer knees. I could see either fighter ending it in a TKO, or I could see the fighter winning by a decision. But ultimately, my pick for this fight is going to be Weili by 4th round TKO. Finally, the main event of the UFC 261. In the welterweight division, we have champion Kamaru Usman taking on number 4 ranked Jorge Masvidal. Usman is a minus 455 favorite, Masvidal a plus 350 underdog. This is where it should stand, I believe. I don't think there's too much changed from the first fight. You know, it's actually interesting. You know, they were the first fight for Fight Island. They're the first fight back with live fans, with a full stadium. So that's kind of interesting. But I don't think from a technical standpoint there's too much different. You know, I think Masvidal will have a lot more in the gas tank, right? Because, you know, it's not a 6-day notice fight. So I think he'll have more in that regard, right? Maybe he lasts a little longer in terms of how much energy he has, how much he's able to, you know, withstand Usman, and Usman controlling him and trying to, you know, wear him out and carry his weight and whatnot. The one thing I'll say, I think Usman's grown more since the last fight. You know, under Trevor Weidman. I've talked about this before. A lot of the what was the last card he fought on? 258. I talked about it on that one. I think how much his jab improved and how standout it was. I think that Masvidal's best chance is if Usman chooses to stand with him and gets caught that way. I mean, Burns caught him, so there's a chance. So I think Burns is a bit faster than Masvidal. So I think that's what really got Usman. I think that he wants to get the. I mean, he's been saying it. I think he wants to get the finish on Masvidal. So maybe he puts a little more effort into that and gets caught somehow that way. I think that's really Masvidal's best chance. You know, he's got to be careful with the kicks because Usman's going to be able to just take him to the ground from those if he catches one. You know, maybe he gets a little closer. Well, no, I don't even know. You don't want to get in the clinch necessarily either. I don't think there's much of a chance for Masvidal, to be honest. This is a lot of Usman world, and we're living in it. That he can win the fight by taking him to the ground, win on points. I think that he can stand with Masvidal and maybe beat him just on pure striking. If he goes to the clinch, he's taking advantage. I hope it's a little more exciting than the last one. We don't get as many toe stomps, but yeah, you know, I don't think there's that much to it, right? It's just for Masvidal, his path to victory is being able to stop the takedowns of Usman, keep the fight standing, and catch him standing. Maybe he catches Usman in a level change, but you know, Usman can stand with him too, so I don't think that, you know, that he has to be worried about the threat of a takedown, but it's not an imminent threat if Usman chooses to stand with him. It could, you know what I mean? It'll be a lot more fluid in how it happens because, you know, it's not like you're waiting for him to pull that. For Usman, I think there's multiple ways that he can win. As I said, he goes to the ground, gets a submission, he's standing, maybe he finishes TKO. Maybe that's unlikely. Masvidal isn't the easiest person to finish. Decision victory is definitely possible. I'm gonna go. My official prediction is Usman by 4th round submission. Yeah. And that's it for my UFC 261 predictions. Go ahead, leave a comment on what your predictions are for the fights. You know, any comments on just what you thought of the video. If you enjoyed it, feel free to leave a like, subscribe, all that type of stuff. I appreciate the support on the page, y'all, and let's enjoy these fights.